Welcome to We're All Fine, the podcast that provides unsolicited advice from totally unqualified people. As ever, I am your host, Hattie. God, I just totally ruined the joke. All right, I'm going to try it again. As ever,
Do you want to be Tom Petty and I could be Petty LaBelle?
Yeah, would you please?
Yeah,
I
of course.
don't know what is happening here. I'm just going to do this again. As ever, I am your host, Tom Petty. And this is my co-host,
Petty LaBelle.
also known as Carly. Hi, Carly.
Hey, hey, Holly. We are so bad at this game.
Shit.
This is so
I'm having
funny.
this problem. So, if you guys haven't been able to tell yet, we're going to be talking about pettiness today, being petty. And you know what? I think it's time. We just need to be real with you guys. Our world says be better people, make better choices, be and embody love.
Yep, be the bigger person too.
Always be
How
the bigger
often
person.
Do you hear that?
Oh my God. As the oldest child, I heard it a couple times a day. Yeah, but my sister kicked me in the stomach. Yeah, but you're the oldest. Be the bigger person. Don't throw the can of spray paint at her head. Okay, so I think it's time that we just need to own up to the fact that we are all petty at one time or another.
Yes, more often than not, at times, depending on the month, the breakfast I had.
That's also fair.
Has bothered me. Honestly, what season it is, if I'm busy frolicking through a spring meadow, I'm probably going to be less petty than I am in fall when I'm cold.
Okay, that's fair. I will be less petty when I am, say, driving down my neighborhood street than I am, say, on the highway or going down Powers. So that's fair. Now we're going to be sharing some of our personal petty moments with all of you guys, which, I mean, we would also love to hear some of your petty moments, mostly because it just makes me feel better that I'm not, as big of a monster as I think I am.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like there may be less need for petty behavior if we all just admitted that we do get petty and that we do get a little spiteful. Because we all do it, but we just don't say it out loud. So I'm going to be petty and proud for the next 30 minutes.
And that, everybody, I think should be our next t-shirt. We're all fine. Petty and proud.
Is that merch? Did we just merch?
I mean, listen, we've had some requests from you guys for merch, and maybe that needs to go. I've actually been petty and proud. I love it. I really like it. I also realized, Carly, that you do a thing on every single episode where you give a scenario with a different name. So some of my favorites are like, I see you, Brenda, or you look super, Kathy, or it's just like all of these.
No, that's super true. That's actually super true, and it's something that I've had to work through in my marriage a little bit too, because I not only do it during the podcast, but for years my rude, stuck-up bitch name has always been Deborah, and that's my mother-in-law's name. And I was using the name Deborah far before I met her, but there's still times where I'm past before married Carly in the moment of talking shit about someone, and I'll be like, okay, Deborah, and then I'm like, oop. So I make sure to call my mother-in-law Debbie because I'm not talking about her.
Well, then Deborah could also be a good merch thing. So here's what I'm thinking to switch it up a little bit. For our It Could Be Worse today, instead of doing these big stories, which we're going to be doing all the way through, I think you and I should share something that we have done personally that's been petty.
Well, funny you say that. Here's my list of things that I came up with within 3 seconds.
Of stuff you've done to be petty?
Oh, yeah. And I literally listed them from minor to not so minor probably, because I'm super petty. Here's the thing. I don't like revenge. Revenge is too far for me. When you're trying to fuck somebody's life over, when you're trying to ruin someone, I can't get behind it. Because we all do terrible shit, whether we mean to, whether we don't mean to. And unless you were like a monster, I'm not going to grab my pitchfork. I'm just probably going to tie your shoes together. I live for petty because by definition, it's a small inconvenience and like act of spite.
Okay.
And that I can get behind. So I'm petty. I'm petty as shit. And I've accepted it. And I'm probably not going to stop anytime soon. So that's me, everyone. So to start my list.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's do this.
One of my most minor, and now I see it on logos and t-shirts and stuff, so I don't know if I started the trend or if I'm just finding my community. For a long time at work or in settings where I was around people that like really grinded my gears, I would always say, I hope you have the day you deserve. And the petty was always there, and now it's on t-shirts. So now I know I can see my people out in the like wild, which makes me really happy. Because
I really love that.
Yeah, right? That's super good. That's super good because if you're talking to Kathy or Deborah or Linda or Keith, I hope you have the day that you deserve. And they're like, "Oh my
Deborah.
gosh, she's so sweet." Like, yes, I am. Yes, you bet. I'm sweet as shit. My second one is when my husband makes me mad, I hide his phone.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do, in the house. And it's always very easy. It's an easy place to find it. But I even did it last night because he made me mad. And so I like snatched his phone from him and then got him in a conversation where he was not paying attention to his phone anymore. And then I put it in the pocket of my robe that hangs in the bathroom. And it took him about 10 minutes to find it. But then I wasn't mad anymore and it didn't hurt anybody. I used to do the same thing to my sister as a kid. I would like go into her room and like remove one thing and I would hide it just in a different place in her room.
That's devious.
Yeah, but it didn't ruin her life. It didn't it was never going to be like her homework. Nothing with long-term anything, but like maybe one of her perfumes. Like, well, guess what? You don't get to sound like Vanilla Bean or smell like Vanilla Bean today. You only have cucumber, melon, and cherry blossom today to choose from.
So take that.
Take that, my sister, who I love very much. Then there was a time, one of the pettiest times of my life was I knew that my now husband, who I was just friends with, was sleeping with someone who I didn't like very much. And I didn't even want my husband at this point. Like, we were friends, but I didn't ever want to see his genitals at this point. I didn't like her. I didn't like how she moved. Didn't like how she interacted with the world around her. She was a pick-me girl, which I sometimes struggle with a little bit. I don't like pick-me boys either, or pick-me-theys. It's not your genitals that dictates that. It's your behavior. And
you can be an asshole of really any gender.
All the time. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But there was a rumor going around that me and my now husband were sleeping together, which wasn't true at the time, but we all did theater together. I would see when she was looking at me or him from across the room, and I would make sure to like wink at him because he'd wink back. Or I would like bite my lip a little bit because him and I would like play that way just as friends. Or I'd giggle or say like an inside joke between both of us that anytime she was around or talking with us. And it was my favorite game. Just to make her have to question things.
I feel like I've severely underestimated you.
Well,
you're like a mastermind.
I was just going to say, I'm not a mastermind by any
means. Though.
But like, I don't want to hurt you, but I do not. This girl was so rude to me all the time. She was very belittling to me. Here's the pettiest thing I think I've ever done. I was with a young man in my late teens, early 20s. We were like college relationship.
Okay.
And he left me for a dental hygienist. And he was coming to pick up his stuff from our shared apartment. And he was a young man that enjoyed being pegged. I'm just going to say it. And also had like very specific fetish like things. And I knew his mom was coming to help him move all of his stuff out. So I left all of the toys and all of the porn on top of all of his stuff. And then as she was walking in, as I was walking out, I was like, hey, so all of his stuff is on the bed. None of that is mine. Go ahead and take it, Julie. And then I left. So she got to know her son really well that day. I don't feel a lot of support in your silence.
I was mostly just thinking how embarrassed I am for me right now, because any follow-up I do at this point is so sad in comparison to what you've dropped. Like I'm mostly incredibly just humbled by your awesomeness right now. So I just don't have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like
well, I'm not a kink shamer. I think everyone should do what they want to do. All of those things. Like I'm all for it. I pro sex 100%. Third wave feminist to the fullest. However, when you leave me to pay all the bills after you were already kind of a loser, to go be with your dental hygienist after 3 years of a relationship, I'm not going to ruin your life. I'm not going to get your employer. I'm not going to contact your new girlfriend. I'm just going to make sure that your mom sees all of your marital aids and porn. So you're welcome.
I'm so impressed right now. I'm so impressed. And I have no words. I mean, everything I was going to share is just so dumb. Like, the closest I had to that is I went to go grab all of my things from someone. We had broken up and I was moving my things out of the house, and I happened to find on, like, amongst their stuff, a bra that was not mine. Clearly, because it was a precious A cup. And so instead of being mature and saying, you know what, it's done now. We're over anyway. I'm moving out. I'm just going to move forward. I took the bra and laid it delicately across his pillow before I left, just so that he knew that I saw it. That's the extent of my petty. That, and like, if someone's tailgating me on the highway, I slow down to like 20 miles per hour on the highway.
Which is your right as a safe
also
driver.
A great way to start any kind of major road rage incident that's going to end up on CNN. So I know that, like, these are so small. I'm humbled. I really just, God, you're badass. Thank you. And you win the it could be worse setup. Like, every single one of these, fucking brilliant. Let's talk about some amateurs then, I guess, because now that we've
I'm going to put that on my resume from now on. Professional pettier.
Well, your petty is so real that, like, all right. I mean, we've talked to the best. Let's listen to the rest. And you guys can totally disagree with us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? We could be like, wow, this is horrendous. And you can be like, really? Maybe you're not trying hard enough. Or we can be like, wow, that's really awful. And
oh, 100%. I do want to do a disclaimer. I'm not justifying my behavior. I know that what I have done is wrong. But Lisa Renna says, own it. And so I am.
All right. Well, you know, WWLRD. So what would Lisa Renna do? I think we all now know. Ready? Someone has been trying to use my email address for years. I love this one so much. I've had my email address since the early days of Gmail, and for the longest time, there's someone out there who has been using it, trying, for all sorts of things. I've gotten gestation updates, financial aid notifications, volunteer schedules, job interview offers, and so many password reset attempts for other services. This person signed up for a streaming service. I changed the password, and they auto-paid for 6 months before fixing it. I scheduled that job interview, then rescheduled it. Recently, I got a payroll account setup email for a new job, I guess. I set up the account. They signed up for a Starbucks account. I don't go to Starbucks. I got the happy birthday email from Starbucks yesterday. It's not my birthday. So now I'm drinking my free $9 macadamia something or other cold brew. I tell them directly to stop using my account, but I don't know their email address. ECA, I have made reasonable attempts to respond to personal emails, telling people that I wasn't the person they were trying to reach, and even tried to pass along the message to please, for the love of all that is good in the world, to stop. And I gave up after about 5 years of trying. At one point, I also reached out to everyone on social media with the same name, and still it continues. I have given up on trying, and I will continue changing the passwords to every account until they stop using it. I'm just glad I haven't gotten any more dick pics in a few years.
Okay, yeah, somebody fucked her email without permission or their email without permission. So yeah, you can be petty at that point. The only one that I really can't get behind is the whole payroll thing. That sounds like it's that moment was a little above petty, maybe even a little bit above misdemeanor. I'm not sure.
Okay, so we're establishing we've got passive aggressive, petty, misdemeanor, and then revenge is kind of somewhere in here, and then felony.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
No, I feel good about this. Yeah. I feel like we are above
payroll is misdemeanor revenge somewhere. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because stealing someone's income potentially, but everything else.
I think my favorite is the Starbucks happy birthday.
Yeah,
email.
Honestly, do that. Love that for you.
Hilarious.
I knew a girl in college that would just come up with email addresses when she was low on cash and needed free food and stuff, and would put her birthday for the next week or that Friday, and so she would get rewards and stuff and be able to eat all day for free that day. And then she would just close the account.
It's also brilliant.
Yeah, right? Good for every so
I feel
smart.
We're setting up a roadmap to just be a villain on this episode.
Yeah, we can't give you your villain story, but we can help you in the process,
Okay, that's fair.
It's kind of have you ever seen What We Do in the Shadows?
No, I heard it's so good.
Oh my god, it's so good. But they're vampires, and so one of the characters makes a girl who gets bullied by her LARPing crew a vampire, so people have to respect her, and she helps her on the beginning journey. And I feel we're just except we can't turn you into the vampire. We're just the help after. Is this normal? I've had unsolicited dick pics through text, but are there really people that take pictures of their penises and email them to people?
I think so, but I'm not a good person to talk to. Somehow, and I realize this makes me a little bit of a unicorn, I have never received a dick pic.
Wow.
In my life. Ever.
What?
Hey, listeners, that's not a challenge, so I just want to make that clear. Her
telephone number is... No,
yeah,
just kidding.
I'm not hey, I'm 44. I really would love an unsolicited dick pic. I feel kind of special about that.
That is super great. I just almost feel it's sending a sexy fax when you're sending a dick pic through email.
Have you ever sent a sexy fax?
No, but I would. Maybe. 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 I feel if I had a penis, I wouldn't send it to people very often, or ever. But I don't know. They're just not cute. Anyways, that's a thing for a different day. But email penises? That's strange.
I think so. I mean, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Maybe you've all had email dick pics. I don't know.
That's true. That's fair.
Okay, well, it's your turn. Drop it. Drop it like it's hot.
Okay. Well, here I'm doing a little bit of I will get to one of the petty stories. That was hilarious. However, here's another one.
Okay.
I really found that I liked this person because I liked how forward they were. So they said, unpopular opinion, being petty against people who have wronged you feels way better than being the bigger person. Not to the extent where you yourself try to get revenge, but getting the feeling of satisfaction after someone wronged you after someone has wronged you, there's a typo, but basically that just feels better. Never once in my life have I felt good about walking away or being better than the other person. The only thing better than eye for an eye, are you ready for this? I really like this, is eye for an eye and your finger. And I don't know. Like, you still have your hand. We're not going to maim you, but eye for an eye and a finger.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Well, I think I really like it where, like, I feel best when it's like the universe that delivers that petty moment. So, like, the person that was like driving like a maniac and passes me, even though I'm going like 20 miles over, but they've got to pass me and be a dick about it. And then they get stuck in the line that's immediately stopped, and I just drive past. Now, if I was that extra level of petty as I drive by, I'm like, but I haven't done that just because I'm so afraid somebody's going to like pull out a gun from their glove compartment and just, but I do like it when the universe, I mean, we could call it karma, but I think it's just like that little taking joy in it, I think is the petty part.
You know, my even better than when they get stuck in the lane is when you and 2 to 3 other cars know that this guy is an asshole and none of you can communicate, but all of a sudden you box him in.
Yes.
Like, that is the part of humanity and like people.
It's beautiful. Like people coming together to deliver that little petty, like, yeah, I like it.
5 minutes later to Safeway. Yeah, I like that. I do like this.
Love it.
So here's another one, and I think it's funny that we both found email ones without like talking to each other. So this person says, I did this to a coworker that I didn't like. I had his email through fantasy football and signed him up for every dating site I could think of. Black People Meet, Farmers Only, J-Date. I didn't upload any pics, but I made his profile pretty scandalous. I never asked or heard of him complaining about getting any unwanted emails, but I imagine it was quite annoying for him. Either that or he's currently having a hush-hush relationship with a Black Jewish farmer. And the positive ending of like, maybe I helped them find their soulmate. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like that one, here's the thing, is that if that had been like they had done that to a woman and made a really salacious thing, now you've opened her up to all kinds of things that really, like, we're crossing that line from petty. Like, we're past petty now, not misdemeanor, but it's like that revenge and that like, you know, that nonstop flight to hell moment. Like, that's just really, you can't do that. In this case, especially because the guy didn't say anything about it, I think that just lucked out that maybe you helped him make a love connection.
Yeah.
Because it's not like all of these places are not bad dating sites. Like, these are not bad dating sites. If you maybe signed him up for the I like to be pegged and nothing else dating site, that may have been
that could have been
a little rough.
And that's why I feel like this one is petty and not straight revenge, because it wasn't like scary. He didn't put his email and phone number on Craigslist and said like, hey, call for a good time, you know, where it was going to be like super incessant or scary. It was literally like very reputable dating sites and made a profile, didn't even upload pictures. So saved at least their literally saved face. And maybe they are really happy now with their love connection, because like he also wasn't messaging anyone because he didn't make connections for them. Just had an inbox that was flooded with people that thought that this person sounded interesting, maybe.
And I think maybe that's the true definition of petty, is like when you do something that just makes you feel better. It doesn't even necessarily have a major, like really, it could have any impact on the other person. But in that moment, you feel decent about it, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right, you have the last one.
Okay, so here's one I really like that somebody could do to a coworker that annoys them. It's so good. Slightly unplug the mouse from the USB port so it looks like it's still connected. Most people will look there after a while and think they are clever, and then be puzzled when the mouse still doesn't work. This can add a good 5 minutes to their morning before they finally decide to look like under. You can also, on the old-fashioned mouses, you can just take that little ball out, or you can put tape over the laser, I guess, is what I learned from Reddit. So their mouse can still be plugged in, but it won't work.
That's so good.
Right? just a simple inconvenience. We've all had that mean, nasty coworker. I had one time. She thought she was my supervisor and she was not. And if I would have known, because it's not hurting anybody, it's just inconveniencing you a little bit, and then you can play it off as a prank too, like, gotcha, Carol, like, that's fun.
That's so
really
good,
like
Carly. That's so good.
Right? Because it just adds 5 minutes to the morning. That's all it does.
And once again, you officially have set us up for the roadmap. The roadmap to being a villain.
You're welcome, the world. Maybe that's my purpose. I'm not here to make you better. I'm here to make you feel better.
And on that note, maybe we should have our good feel, our crowning moment for the day. Why am I having issues with words?
Words are hard.
I can't remember the name of it again. What is it called?
Affirmation?
Oh, for the love of God.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, here we go. And I'm not going to double this time. I'm researching, making sure that I don't do it, right? Here we go.
I'm ready.
Our crowning moment for today. My actions are meaningful.
Okay. I like it.
My actions are meaningful. There is purpose to what I do.
Yeah, I could meditate with that for a little bit.
All right, everybody. We want to give a little bit of a shout out to one of our Apple review folks, as we said we would, Jilmo, who thanks so much for your beautiful 5-star review. That was lovely. Wait, was it? Pew pew. Pew 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 pew. So thank you. We appreciate you.
We do.
And we would love to call out some of you guys. Leave us some reviews. Tell us how you feel, even if you're like, what the F did I just listen to? You're welcome. You can check us out on Instagram at We're All Fine Podcast. On YouTube, We're All Fine Podcast. It's where you can now see our faces. Our faces are adequate.
Yeah.
Our adequate
physical shelf.
Faces. You can send us an email, We're All Fine Podcast at Gmail. And we are anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So check us out.
We're easy. You're welcome.
Yeah, well, that's what it says on every bathroom stall.
It's true. And a good
easy.
time.
All right.
You're welcome, everyone.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys. We love you.